First of all, what I want you to do is, I want you to turn to page 246 in your textbook. Okay, I want to continue from where we left off the last class, okay, which has to do with the sine rule. Okay, so I hope that you have done the homework and that you have sent in the homework, okay, because if you haven't, then not good lah. Okay, so we come back to the sine rule. So for example, if you have a triangle, and then the sides here I call A, B, C lah. I will usually use small letter, okay, and then opposite of side A will be angle A, opposite of side C will be angle C, and then opposite of side B will be angle B lah. Okay, so the sine rule, okay, we used the sine rule last week, in which there are two situations now. One is if you want to find the side, then you put the side on top. So for example, A over sine A equals to B over sine B. Okay, now sometimes because you know when you do triangle, right? Okay, let's say for example let's say they give you we use the same triangle BCA like that, right? Okay, so they say find the length, okay, of AC. Okay, that means this length lah. Okay, so find the length of AC basically just means the same as find the length of B, small b lah, over here. Okay, because it's opposite to the big angle B. Okay, so I usually like to use letters just to represent the length that I want to find. But if you want to use AC, also can. Okay, so let's say for example, AC over sine B, okay, equals to, let's say I have this angle. This angle is 30 degrees. Okay, and then this one is 12, let's say. So 12 over sine 30. Okay, so usually that's how we will do this. So, you know, the letters are not as important as you must know what you want to find. Kamu mau cari panjang kah? Kamu mau cari angle? You want to find the length, then you do this one lah. But if you want to find the angle, then you make sure you put the angle on top. Okay, that is the more important thing. Not whether which letter is correct lah, which letter, that one not important. Okay, the sine rule is not even a formula, you know. Notice that it's called a rule. Okay, a rule means it's just a ratio only. This ratio equals to this ratio. Okay, that's it. The most important thing is you need to know what you want to find. If you want to find the angle, then you put the angle on top. If you want to find the length, then you put the length on top. Okay, that is the most important thing. That for me is more important. So don't be stuck or be trapped by the formula. Okay, this is a very common weakness that I see among a lot of AdMed students. They only think formula, then they cannot be flexible about it. When you cannot be flexible with formula, that becomes very difficult. Okay, so learn to be flexible. It's just a rule. Okay, it's just a rule. You need to know how to play around with the rule. Then for sure this topic will be quite easy one. Okay, now the next thing that I want to talk about is there is something special about this sine rule. Okay, in which we will call this an ambiguous case. Astaga, sorry, hold on. Ambiguous case. Okay, now why do ambiguous cases happen? Okay, so this is the first thing they need to know. So what I need you to do is I need you to take out your calculator, okay, and I want you to find for me the value of hold on. Okay, find for me the value of sine 42. Okay, give me your answer. Either unmute yourself, which is the easiest way, or you can type out your answer in this one. Somebody. Okay, give me the value of sine 42, and at the same time, give me the value of sine 138. Anybody? Four decimal places. Sine 42 and sine 138. Zero 0.6691. Which one? David says 0.6691, but he didn't tell me which one is sine 42. 0.6691. Okay. How about sine 138? So you see, sine 138 is 0.6691. Sine 42 is also 0.6691. Okay. Now remember in our previous class, I said that if you want to find the angle, right, the thing that you need to do is to shift sign. So for example, let's say I say sine C equals to 0.6691. So how do I find the angle C? Okay, we move the sign across, then we get shift sine 0.6691. Okay, what does this answer give you? When you press shift sign 0.6691, what do you get? Okay, fine, you get about 42 lah. Yeah, actually it's more to it. Okay, so you get actually about 42 degrees. But you see, there are actually two values that give you 0.6691. So how do you know? The calculator can only show you one. No matter how many times I press shift sign 0.6691, okay, I will get about 42. And no matter what I press, I cannot get the 138, See? But you see, the problem is when I press different angle, I get the same value. Okay, both 42 degrees and 138 degrees, okay, give me the same sine value. Okay, and so the problem is this, when I have a sine angle equals to 0.6691, how do I know whether my angle is 42 or my angle is 138? So this is what we call an ambiguous case. You have one answer, 0.6691, but you may have two different angles, one is 42 and one is 138. So how to know whether it is 42 degrees or 138 degrees? Okay, and that is our big problem today. Okay, and this is very special. This is only for sine rule only. Okay, only when you do sine rule, when you do an equation that involves sine rule, okay, you need to double check and think, okay, when I do the shift sign, am I supposed to take the angle that is given in the calculator, or is there an extra calculation that will give me this 138 degrees? Everything that involves sine, okay, will have this ambiguous rule. Okay, you just have to know what are the situations where, okay, where we use the original angle or we have to do an extra calculation. Okay, so this is the problem that we want to think about today. Okay, when I do the shift sign, do I need to do the extra calculation? Okay, that is the question we want to answer today. Okay, so let's take a look and see how. Okay, so turn to page 247. Okay, I think it's 247. Turn to page 247. Okay, turn to page 247. Okay, in your textbook. Take a look at the bottommost paling bawah. Okay, ambiguous case. Astaga, G-U-O-U-S pula. Okay, ambiguous case. So the text down there, I want you to let's explore this text. So the ambiguous case, okay, exists. So ambiguous means you have one sign value, okay, like this, 0.6691, but you have two possible angles and you don't know which one is the correct one. Okay, so we call this an ambiguous case lah. Samar-samar dalam bahasa Melayu, I can't remember. And dalam bahasa Melayu it's called ambiguity lah, but wow. Okay, it's like you don't know which angle to use. Okay, so today we're going to learn the tip how to find out which angle to use. So they say ambiguous case exists if you are given the length of two sides. Okay, so for example, you have a triangle. Okay, you have A and let's say C lah. Okay, and a non-included angle, which is angle A over here. This is angle A. Okay, so you're given the two sides, okay, which is A and C, but you are given the angle A, which is opposite to the side A. Okay, and then they say this angle must be acute. Okay, so this goes back to what you learned in Form 1. The two most important types of angles is acute angle and obtuse angle. Okay, acute angle is anything that is less than 90 degrees. Obtuse angle is 90 to 180 degrees. Okay, anything between 90 to 180 degrees is called an obtuse angle. Okay, so if you take a look, this is an acute angle. Astaga, sorry, wrong. Okay, so this is an acute angle because the angle is so tiny. Okay, this is an obtuse angle because it's definitely more than 90 degrees. If the shape is bigger than an L, because L is 90 degrees, right? If the shape is bigger than an L, definitely it's an obtuse angle. Okay, and if you we might as well just this one. So a reflex angle. Okay, reflex angle is anything between 180 to 360 degrees. Okay, bigger than this one. But I'm only interested in these two. I'm only interested in acute angle and obtuse angle. Okay, so keep these words in mind. Acute angle is smaller than the L. Okay, obtuse angle is bigger than the L. Okay, ngam L is, anybody knows what is it called? Ngam L. 90 degrees ngam is called a right angle. Okay, so acute, right, and super extended obtuse angle. 180 degrees is a straight line. That one no need to tell you. 180 degrees. Ching chang like that. This is 180 degrees, so it's a straight line. So tak payah fikir. So all I need you to understand is the difference between acute angle and obtuse angle. Okay, because if you take a look, okay, in an ambiguous case, one of the angles is an acute angle, and the other angle is an obtuse angle. Let me repeat. In an ambiguous case, as I said just now, right? If let's say I give you the answer, there are always two possible answers because we are using sine rule. Okay, the answer they give you in the calculator is confirm the acute angle. Confirm, because calculator is not as smart as human being. So calculator can only tell you the acute angle. It cannot tell you the obtuse angle. There is an extra calculation that you need to do to find the obtuse angle. I'm going very slowly because I really want you to understand the difference between acute and obtuse. Okay, so these two angles are different, but when we calculate the sine, look, we get the same value. Both 42, which is an acute angle, give you sine 42 0.6691. Sine 138 is an obtuse angle, but it gives you the same sine value, 0.6691. That's why we need to know, if I shift sine the 0.6691, which is the correct angle I'm supposed to get? Is it the acute angle or is it the obtuse angle? Okay, this is what we are supposed to study today. Okay, so the book here says, first you have two sides and then angle over here. Okay, and look at the second condition. Look at B. The side which is opposite the non-included angle, okay, is shorter than the other side. That means A must be shorter than C. Okay, the length of A must be shorter than C, and okay, it is longer than the height of the triangle. So this is the height of the triangle. Okay, height lah. Okay, so that means A must be more than the height of the triangle. Okay, then it is an ambiguous case. Okay, and which means that this angle, okay, this angle that you want to find, or yeah, this angle, okay, that you want to find, could be an acute angle, could be an obtuse angle. Okay, and this is a very important thing. Okay, so that is the explanation of the ambiguous case. Okay, the most important thing, okay, the most important thing, if you feel that I'm talking too much, okay, the most important thing is this, okay, is that whenever we count the shift sign, we must look at the question and see, okay, is the angle acute angle, which is smaller than the letter L, okay, or is it an obtuse angle? We have to look at the diagram. We must look at the diagram and see, okay, and see whether it is an acute angle or an obtuse angle. Okay, let's take a look at an example. Okay, I want to do, turn to page 249. Okay. Okay, page 249. Let's do question number 2. Okay, so this here, the diagram over here, okay, is an incomplete triangle. This is Q, this is P, this is R, Sine 35 degrees and Sine 15.5. Okay, now you are given that QR, okay, is 10.5 cm. Is 10.5 cm. Okay, find the possible values of QRP. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So there are two ways to do this triangle. One is the obvious one. Okay, I complete the triangle over here and I say this is 10.5 cm. Okay, that makes sense kan? Okay, can I find this angle? Quite easy, right? Okay, can you do this now, please? Find for me the value of this angle. Use the sine rule. Okay, 57.855. 57.855. Okay, let's just double check Actually, yeah most likely correct but fine. So sine R, since we want to find the angle, we put the sine out on top Sine R over opposite is 15.5. Okay, equals to sine 35 over 10.5. So 15.5 pindah pergi sebelah, sine R equals to sine 35 over 10.5 times 15.5. You will get about, okay, sine R equals to 0.8467. Okay, so R will be shift sine 0.8467 and you get Sinbury's answer, which is 57.855 degrees. Okay, so this is very easily done Okay, but the problem is this, there is a second possible triangle where the length is still 10.5 cm. Okay, there is a second possible triangle. Okay, now let me draw this line again. Okay. Like this. Okay, so here is Q, here is P. I know that this is 15.5. This one cannot change and this angle also cannot change, 35 degrees. Definitely cannot change. But do you notice that if I draw another line which is the same length, 10.5 cm, I can draw a triangle like this. I put this as R. Okay, and I say this is 10.5 cm. It's the same triangle, QPR. The length is the same. So this is 15.5, this is 10.5. It's just that I move the other line across. Okay, so take a look at this angle now. Do you think that this angle can be 57.855? From the shape of the triangle, also you know already. Take a look at this line. I'm going to change color so that you can see. Take a look at this line, this angle. This is definitely, from the picture itself, this is definitely an obtuse angle. It's impossible for this angle to be 57.855. Because I said 57.855 is an acute angle. Dia mesti lebih kecil daripada 90. This one is obviously bigger than 90 degrees. Okay, unless your hand is cacat like mine, Okay, your L shape should be very normal lah. Okay, you take a look at this angle Take a look at this angle, people. Okay, this line is definitely bigger than an L shape. Okay, it's definitely an obtuse angle. So it cannot be 57.855 because I said anything less than 90 is acute angle. So how do I find the value of this angle? Okay, so this is what I am going to teach you today. So let's say now your triangle is like this already. Okay, same 10.5, this is 15.5, this is, how much was it? 35. Okay, so now my problem is this angle is an obtuse angle. So we do the same process. Okay, I'm going to call this angle R lah. So sine R over 15.5 equals to sine 35 over 10.5. We do the same step like we did just now. Okay, and then after that we do all the way, same thing lah. Okay, same thing all the way, but this is where it is different. R equals to shift sine 0.8467. Okay, 8467. Okay, and then calculator, no choice. As I said, human is always smarter than calculator. Calculator can only show you one angle, which is the acute angle. It is programmed that way. Okay, so the calculator will tell you the answer 57.855 degrees. Okay, now this is the extra calculation. If you see the triangle and you know that it is obtuse, you must write down. Okay, since R is an obtuse angle. Okay, as I said just now, human is always smarter than calculator. Okay, so calculator cannot show you obtuse angle, but you can. Okay, since R is an obtuse angle, R must equals to 180 minus 57.855. Okay, which will give you 57.855. Okay, which will give you 122 degrees, 0.145 degrees. Okay, so this angle is 122.145 degrees. So this is the extra step. If you have to find the value of an obtuse angle, all you need to do is 180 minus the original answer from the calculator. I repeat, it is 180 degrees minus the original answer from the calculator. Because I'm going to say this again and again, because some of you act like the calculator is smarter than you. It is not. You are smarter than the calculator. Okay, calculator can only help you. Okay, doesn't mean that the calculator is smarter than you. You have to be smarter than the calculator. Okay, take a look at the gambar raja. Take a look at the figure. Okay, think for yourself. Is this acute or is this obtuse? If it is obtuse, then okay, I must do one extra step, which is 180 minus the calculator punya answer. Because calculator is not as smart as me. Okay, calculator is not as smart as human. I'm human, so I'm smarter than calculator. So human can find obtuse angle. Calculator cannot. Okay, so make sure that you do this 180 degrees. And then if you tidak puas hati, you check again lah. You press sine 122.145. Okay, you get 0.8467. You can see it now. 122.145. You get 0.8467. You still get the same answer. Okay, so this is the relationship. Okay, so the relationship, okay, the relationship between the acute and obtuse angle. Okay, is acute angle, okay, plus obtuse angle must always give you the value of 180 degrees. Must. Okay, that's why just now in the first example I give you, see, one is 42, the other one is 138. Because 138 plus 42 is 180 degrees. That is a very, very important relationship. which you will actually learn some more when you are in Form 5 lah, if you still plan to take LMATs in Form 5. Okay, but this is a very, very important relationship. Okay, and it's very special, you know, it only happens in Sine Rule. Okay, why Sine Rule and why not another rule which we will learn in the next class? Also you will learn in Form 5 lah. Okay, but it's very special. This relationship is so special. That's why I must have one special class just to talk to you about this very, very special relationship. Okay, acute angle plus obtuse angle, the answer must always be 180 degrees. That's why if I want to find the obtuse angle, I just 180 degrees minus the acute angle. And calculator can only give you the answer, well, at least if you have a calculator like mine, maybe if your calculator is more chunky, can give you both answers at the same time. But if you're like me, you're just a normal person, you use this calculator, okay, this calculator can only give us the acute angle. Okay, so we have to be smarter. We have to say, okay, I can find the obtuse angle. All I need to do is just minus 180. Okay, now the question is this, how do you know which triangle, let's say I give you a different question, right? How do you know whether I'm supposed to use obtuse or I'm supposed to use acute? Okay, so there are two ways lah. One is you need to take a look at the gambar raja, take a look at the picture, okay, and take a look at the angle that you want to find. Is it less than 108, less than 90 degrees, or is it more than 90 degrees? If it's more than 90 degrees, then definitely it's an obtuse angle. Okay, sometimes the question will give you the question will give you a few clues lah. Okay, and that's why we need to practice a little bit more, okay, before we can talk about this kind of questions. Sorry. Okay, so then after that they say find the possible lengths of PR. Okay, so you see in this particular triangle, this first triangle, the PR is much longer because my QR is like this. But in this one, my PR is much shorter. Okay, so if I'm going to find the PR, okay, let me take the first triangle, this first triangle, I'm going to rub this rest off. Okay, so this triangle, okay, so how do I find this PR? This one quite easy lah. Can you find for me, please? If this one is 35, this is 15.5, this angle R, I know already, this is, astaga. Okay, this is 57.855. Can you please find for me the value of this? How do I find the value of this PR? Okay, find for me, please, and give me the answer. Give me what is this angle. If I don't have this angle, then I cannot find PR, but I can have the angle already. Can somebody tell me how much is this angle first? Must call name already. Okay, 87.145. Okay, because it's 180 minus 35 minus 57.855. Okay, good. So find the value of PR, please. The length of PR. You can use whichever pair. Okay, if you want to use 10.5 and 35 also can, or if you want to use how much was this just now? Or 15.5. If you want to use 15.5 and 57.855 also can. Okay, but this one definitely PR over sine 87.145 equals to whichever pair that you want to use. Okay, give me the value of PR, please. 18.283 cm. Okay, now that is if we use the angle 57.855. But since this is an ambiguous triangle, there is a second possible case which is this. Okay, now let's take a look at this. Do the same step again, but now our R angle is 122.145. First of all, tell me what is this angle first. You need to have this angle 22.855. Okay, so use this angle and now tell me the value of this PR. It is obviously going to be much smaller than 18 lah. Because look at this angle, if it's like this, then it's 18.283. So you know that this answer will be very small, much smaller than 18. Okay, can you tell me what is the value of PR in this case? 7.11. Okay. Does everybody agree with the answer? Okay. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to first, I need you to first practice this ambiguous situation lah. Okay, so remember that you need to take a look at the figure, okay, take a look at the gambar raja, okay, to see whether it is an obtuse angle. The angle that you want to find is an obtuse angle or an acute angle. Okay, sometimes the problem comes where they don't give you the figure. You have to draw the figure out yourself. Okay, just like what I said. But okay, this is an interesting thing. You know this triangle that we drew just now from this one, PQR? Okay, so let me just draw this again. So the original triangle given to us in page 200 and... What page was it just now? Page 249. Okay, so the original one is this lah. Okay, so you have this Q over here, and then you have 15.5, and this is P, and this is 35.5. Now we know that the first triangle that we counted, this is 10.5. Okay, so this is the first one that we did just now over here. Okay, and then the second one is the one that looks like it, right? Okay, it is the same length, except that now my 10.5 is like this. Okay, this is 10.5. Okay, and we find that, okay, when the 10.5 is on the brown one, the angle over there was... How much was the angle? 57.855. Okay, this is 57.855. And then this one, okay, which we found from here, okay, is 122.145. So this is 122.145. Now, do you notice anything interesting about this triangle that I combined? I combined the big triangle that we saw just now and then the second triangle that we find. We find that actually it is an isosceles triangle. Okay? Yeah, isosceles triangle. Same length. That means if this length is 10.5, this length is 10.5. So this one is also 57.855. Okay? Okay, and that's why we use 180 minus the 57.855, okay, to find this angle, 122.145. Because remember the relationship just now, the acute angle plus the obtuse angle must be equals to 180 degrees. Okay, so if the side, this is what we call the side that can change cannot change length, but it can change position. When we change the position of the 10.5, this is the original position. Okay, this is the new position. Okay, what happens is that we get two different angles. We will get one acute angle and we will get one obtuse angle. And this is, as I said just now, this is very special for sine rule only. Okay, because after this, we're going to learn another rule. I think on Thursday. Okay, we will learn another rule, which we're not going to talk about today. Today, I want to focus on sine rule only. Okay, so for sine rule, we must be very careful. Look at the gambar raja properly. Look at the figure properly. Look at the angle. Okay, ask yourself, is this an acute angle or is this an obtuse angle? If it is an obtuse angle, the answer from the calculator, you need to do one extra step. Okay, I'm repeating this so many times because sometimes when I say one time, some people don't really like masuk dalam kepala. So I'm saying it again, okay, to make sure that everybody understands. It's so important because this is This one sure kena ask one. Definitely people will ask. Okay, definitely got question on this one. Okay, because it's so important. Okay, until that's why lah. One example only I'm discussing today. Okay, so what I would like you to do, okay, for today lah, to prepare for our, when is our next class? Tomorrow is the next class. Okay, so what I would like you to do is, I would like you to take a look at the handout that I gave you yesterday, okay, in your class, in your group. Okay, what is it called? Is it called Sine Rule Part 2? Yeah, I think it's called Sine Rule Part 2. Is it called Sine Rule Part 2? Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me open the file. Okay, so take a look at this one, Sine Rule Part 2. Okay, so there are not that many questions lah. Okay, there are only 5 questions. Okay, but all of this, okay, involves the sine rule. All of this involves the sine rule, and then all of it also involves the ambiguous angle. So you see this question over here. Okay, given that ACB is an obtuse angle, they already tell you it is an obtuse angle. Okay, that's why they can get this 110.58. Actually, there's a missing step over here. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see my mouse. Can you see my mouse? Can lah. Okay, you try and press this lah, shift sign 0.9362. Okay, because I'm very sure that some of you are going to ask me this question. How is it? How come, sir, I press shift sign 0.9362, my calculator give me 69.42, but the paper say 110.58. Why? Because the question already say it is an obtuse angle. So actually there is a shortcut here lah. They didn't show you the shortcut, but I want you to remember it's minus 180. Okay, so be very careful with this. Read the question properly. Tell me which is the obtuse angle. Okay, so question 2 also is like that. Okay, this one, question number 3. Given the value of EDF is greater than 90 degrees. Greater than 90 degrees also means obtuse angle. So if you printed this out now, please mark down here. This is an obtuse angle. Okay, obtuse angle means what? Okay, so please know. Now, this one also another one. Given that PQR, this angle, PQR, is an angle in the second quadrant. Okay, this one, the words second quadrant of Cartesian plane. Okay, I actually haven't taught you. This is actually a form 5 punya this one lah, but you should know also lah. Okay, angle in the second quadrant of Cartesian plane is just another sentence for the word obtuse angle. So the question here is saying this angle Q is obtuse angle. Okay, so what does obtuse angle mean? I have been saying it since 10:15 just now. So please, for the love of God, okay, remember what is the meaning of obtuse angle. Okay, same thing with number 5, KLM. So this angle, okay, this angle over here, L, is an angle in the second quadrant of the Cartesian plane. Means what? It is an obtuse angle. Okay, so please make sure that you answer the question correctly. Okay, all these questions are number 1 until number 5 is all obtuse angle questions. Okay. Okay, so what I would like you to do is, I would like you to answer these questions and then hand them in your Google Classroom by today. Okay, there's only 5 questions only. Come on, guys, you can finish 5 questions in one day. Okay, hand in your answers by today in the Google Classroom, and then tomorrow I will give you other exercises to do. Okay. All right. If there's nothing else, I think we can disperse for today. That's all only. That's all the homework there is for today. Just that 5 questions in the Sine Rule Part 2 punya handout.